but I'm going to give you everything that you need to know to pass your oral portion of your private pilot check ride. What's up, YouTube? Welcome to my channel, Simpli-Fly It. I'm Garrett, a flight instructor, and I'm here to give you guys free ground instruction. This is the first video of the channel, but I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown of what the channel will be later on. For now, as an introduction to this channel and what this channel is going to be about, I'm going to break down how you can pass your private pilot check ride and how it's actually a lot simpler than a lot of people make it out to be. Now, when I say simple, I don't mean easy. I just mean simple in terms of the information is categorized for you by the FAA so that we know exactly what we have to do to pass our private pilot check ride. Now, if you're anything like me when I was first starting out as a private pilot or as a student pilot, I was looking up tons of YouTube videos on how to pass my written test, how to pass the private pilot check ride, and there was a lot of confusion and just different answers from people because a lot of these videos are created by student pilots, private pilots, and flight instructors alike, so there's a big mix of answers. And if you're also like me, you want to know exactly what it is that you have to know in order to pass your check ride. The other videos will say, read this book or take this course or this online thing is the best way to pass the test, but I'm telling you exactly what information you need to pass your check ride. This is more specific to the check ride in this video than the written test, but I will have a video for the written test as well. So my students come to me and they always ask, like, so how does the check ride go? So first we'll talk about getting into the flow of the check ride and what it's actually going to be like, as well as what it is that you have to know. So for your check ride, we're not going to get into a ton of detail because your instructor can do that for you, but basically when you go to take your check ride, you're going to have an oral portion and a flight portion, and each portion can range from pretty short to pretty long. I've seen orals that are only an hour long, and I've seen them go 3-4 hours long. But for a private pilot check ride, it's going to be usually about 1 to 2 hours. Flight portion naturally will take a little bit longer as you're doing more things, and the flying portion itself, the procedures just take longer. So on this channel, there's going to be less of a focus on what you're learning in the air because we're on the ground here and I'm teaching you on the internet. But I'm going to give you everything that you need to know to pass your oral portion of your private pilot check ride. Now, your number one tool for knowing what to study, not your number one tool to study, but knowing what to study, is something called the Airman Certification Standards, or the ACS for short. Every time I get a new student and I ask them, do you know what the ACS is? They always say no. And so breaking down the ACS is always the first thing I do for my students so that they know exactly what it is that they have to study to pass the check ride. So I'm gonna have images of the ACS periodically on screen to show you guys what I'm talking about and how it works. And you can find it for free online on the FAA's website if you just search up Private Pilot ACS. When you go for other licenses and ratings in the future, there's going to be a different ACS for those as well. There's an instrument ACS and a commercial ACS, but for right now, all you need to worry about is the private pilot ACS. Now, when you look at it online or when you look at it in the book, you're going to see there's a lot of pages and that there's going to be a lot of tasks that you have to know. And so people get intimidated and then they don't even use the ACS and they rely solely on their instructor for ground instruction. But for the oral portion of your check ride, there's actually only 8 tasks out of that whole ACS that you have to know and study in and out. And if you do, you will pass the oral of your check ride, as long as you can also apply the information when the DPE is asking you. And the DPE is a designated pilot examiner. That's who's going to be giving you your check ride. It's not going to be your flight instructor. It's not going to be someone from your flight school. It's going to be a third-party guy that your flight school probably has a relationship with that you pay, and he will give you your check ride. So those 8 sections of the ACS that you have to know for your oral portion of your check ride are the first 8 pages. It's tasks A through H. And I've got them all laid out for us here. Task A, pilot qualifications. Task B, airworthiness requirements. Task C, weather information. Task D, cross-country flight planning. Task E, national airspace system. Task F, performance and limitations. Task G, operation of systems, and Task H, human factors. Now, within each of these tasks, there are subcategories in each task, and that's what you have to study. And I'm going to show that on screen, how each one has different subcategories. And so even though it's only 8 tasks, in reality, there is a decent chunk of information that you do have to know. You'll also notice at the bottom of some of these pages, it mentions that you only have to know a couple of these for your Checkride, or be able to talk about a couple of these. However, you don't know which one your DB is going to be asking you about, so you really do have to know about each subcategory. But looking at this, don't let it intimidate you, because a lot of these things are very simple and can be broken down in as little as 2-3 minutes. And so that's what the primary focus of this channel is going to be. We're going to start off with Task A, and we're going to make a video for each subcategory in the ACS, and we're going to go through the entire ACS so that you have a video for each possible subcategory. When you take your written test, if you haven't taken it already, any questions you get wrong will come with a code, and that code you will have to keep with you on your test score sheet. And each code that you're given coincides with one of the subcategories in this ACS. Any questions you get wrong on your written test, the DB has to ask you about in the Checkride. So if you want to see videos on specific subcategories of the ACS, subscribe to this channel, because I'm going to be trying to upload at least one subcategory of the ACS daily minimum. And some categories are a little bit smaller, so I can do multiple in a day and hopefully pump out multiple subcategories in a day. Ideally, within a few months of work, you guys should have a full library of every single subcategory in the ACS. And every year it's updated, so next year, if there's something new added, I can add that to the playlist. But either way, this can be your one-stop shop for breaking down each piece of the ACS so that you can feel confident going into the oral portion of your Checkride. I also plan on adding other aviation-related videos, such as pilot personality type videos, things like, are you the type that should be a pilot if you're just thinking about becoming one, and other fun videos of that nature. But the main focus initially is going to be that breakdown. So if you're a student pilot aspiring to get your private pilot license, or even if you already have your private pilot license and you're just looking to keep your knowledge of the ACS fresh, subscribe and hit that notification bell, because we're going to be posting a lot. And you don't want to miss these breakdowns, especially if you're like me. Again, I am not that smart, and so I'm going to break this information down as simply as I can so that I could understand it as if I was teaching myself when I was brand new. You do not have to be a genius to be a pilot. You just have to study hard and study the information in a way that works for you. Personally, I use a lot of the information online on YouTube, like M0A, Fly It 8 Mike Alpha, Flight Insight. All of these guys on YouTube provide great videos for you to use if maybe reading out of a textbook for hours isn't the best way for you to retain information. And others' videos usually cover kind of a scope of topics per video, but we're going to break it down line by line in the ACS and mix in those videos as well. But anyway, guys, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, or it helped you out a little bit. Like I said, stay tuned for more videos, and I'll see you tomorrow.